What really happened to Katelyn Markham? After more than a decade of searching for answers, we finally have the truth. How did her fiancé, John Carter, hide crucial details for so long? And what led investigators to uncover the chilling facts? So guys, quickly join Misconduct YouTube channel and let's dive into the details of this solved mystery. In the quiet summer of 2011, Katelyn Markham, a bright 21-year-old art student from Fairfield, Ohio, disappeared without a trace. She was on the cusp of graduation, making plans to start a new life in Colorado with her fiancé, John Carter. What should have been an exciting chapter in her life quickly turned into a tragedy that captivated the nation. For more than a decade, the mystery of Katelyn's disappearance haunted her family, friends, and an entire community. Now, after years of questions and uncertainty, the truth has finally come to light. But it's not the closure anyone expected. On the evening of August 13, 2011, Katelyn Markham was last seen by her fiancé, John Carter. According to Carter, they spent the evening together at her Dorshire Drive townhome. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but the next morning, Katelyn didn't respond to his texts. Concerned, Carter went to her home, only to find it eerily empty. Her purse, wallet, and keys were left behind, yet there was no sign of Katelyn. Even her car remained parked outside, but her phone was missing. The next step was inevitable. Carter dialed 911. His call triggered a massive investigation, one that would go on to consume the lives of Katelyn's family, friends, and local authorities. Searches were organized, with friends and volunteers scouring parks, waterways, and wooded areas in a desperate attempt to locate any sign of her. But despite the tireless efforts, Katelyn had vanished without a trace. Weeks turned into months. Leads dried up, and the community was left grappling with the possibility that Katelyn Markham might never be found. Fast forward 2 years. On a quiet April morning in 2013, a couple in Cedar Grove, Indiana, stumbled upon a chilling discovery while collecting aluminum cans near a creek. Skeletal remains lay hidden off Big Cedar Road, nearly 30 miles away from Katelyn's last known location. As forensic anthropologists pieced together the grim details, it became clear. This was Katelyn Markham. The condition of her remains indicated that they had likely been moved. No cause of death could be determined due to the severe decomposition, but cutting wounds on her left wrist suggested she had suffered some form of sharp force trauma. It was enough to confirm the worst. Katelyn had been murdered. But the discovery of her remains did not bring the answers her family so desperately sought. In fact, it only deepened the mystery. Who had killed her, and why? From the beginning, something about John Carter's story didn't sit right with investigators. There were small inconsistencies, but enough to raise suspicion. During initial interviews, police noticed scratch marks on Carter's neck, which he first attributed to an electric razor. Later, he claimed not to remember how they got there. As days turned into weeks, Carter became a person of interest in the investigation. Friends and family, who had once rallied around him, began to distance themselves. Yet, despite the growing suspicion, there wasn't enough physical evidence to charge him with a crime. DNA, fingerprints, and other key forensic details that usually solve cases were frustratingly absent. The case went cold. Years passed with little progress. Investigators were haunted by the knowledge that they had a strong, singular person of interest, but lacked the evidence to pursue charges. Katelyn's family, heartbroken but determined, pushed for the case to be re-examined. In 2015, the Butler County Sheriff's Office took over the investigation, but even with renewed focus, no arrests were made. In January 2020, Butler County Prosecutor Michael G. Moser launched his own investigation, determined to bring justice to Katelyn's family. But the challenge remained. Without physical evidence, how could they prove who killed Katelyn? It was a case built entirely on circumstantial evidence an uphill battle for any prosecutor. The year 2023 brought a breakthrough that no one saw coming. After years of maintaining his innocence, John Carter was indicted in March 2023. Investigators, armed with years of circumstantial evidence, felt they finally had enough to make their case. Carter, now 36, was facing a murder trial. But just weeks before the trial was set to begin, Carter did something no one expected. He pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter. In a stunning admission, Carter confessed to causing Katelyn's death by physical violence and force. It was the first time in nearly 13 years that he publicly acknowledged his role in her killing. Despite Carter's guilty plea to involuntary manslaughter, he has never revealed the full truth of how or why he killed her. Evidence against Carter included his phone going dark, deleted messages, and strange drawings found at his family's home. The courtroom was filled with emotion as Katelyn's family, friends, and supporters packed the gallery. Dave Markham, Katelyn's father, spoke of the deep anguish he and his family had experienced over the years, calling Carter's 3-year sentence inadequate. "I do not feel 3 years is justice, not for Katelyn, not for her sister, not for me, her friends, or the entire community that has ached and grieved alongside us," he said. Judge Daniel Haughey sentenced John Carter to 3 years in prison, the maximum sentence for involuntary manslaughter. Carter's attorneys had argued for probation, citing his lack of criminal history and claiming his plea showed remorse. But Haughey disagreed. "The court believes that Mr. Carter has shown no genuine remorse for this offense," the judge said. He did not try to help Katelyn, nor did he acknowledge what happened to her in the immediate aftermath. To this day, Carter has not explained the full details of how or why he killed Katelyn. His silence only deepens the sorrow felt by her family, who are left wondering what really happened during those final moments of her life. The case of Katelyn Markham's disappearance is finally closed, but the unanswered questions still linger. What are your thoughts on the investigation and the sentence? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to Misconduct channel, and hit the notification bell for more true crime updates.